Okay, today we're gonna talk about watercolor to learn a couple of techniques here. So I collected materials here, everything that basically we need to start works. Of course, there's some advanced material that we can add later on when we learn all these basic things about watercolor. But right now this is really everything that we need. So as you see, there is masking tape here that I will show you how you will use it later on. So I will leave all of them in a corner, and then we have a couple of brushes. I myself always prefer to have at least 3 different numbers, so one, the little one for details, the other one for like larger surfaces, and in case if we need to cover a huge surface, I will use a third one, but even two of them are enough. So this is the soft brush that you need for soft water color brush that you need. So I will leave it in a corner. And then as you see here, we have this Canson watercolor paper that are really good quality, have really good qualities, so it has really good texture that your brush can really be in a good touch with the surface. So this is something that we will use. And then pencil, always you have a pencil in whenever you want to draw, so it's like something that you always leave beside. And then here we have our watercolor. So we have here this watercolor, as you see. So in this package I have something that I really like it. If you open the package, you see not all of the watercolors have this. So this is something that you can pour with water, and then when for the surfaces that you just need to use water, you don't want to use the pigment, so you just use it. So it's really functional. And the watercolor itself, you see that all colors that you need is here, so it's really it's Sakura watercolor. I really like the quality of this product. And then eraser, sharpener that you might need, and water that is really important as it's a watercolor, right? So, and then always have a piece of paper towel beside you in case you want to clean. And then at the end we have this like this border that I bought from Above Grant. This we say like this sheet, and it's really good. It's really fixed, strong, so you can fix your paper on top, and then you don't need to be worried about like moving and so just leave it here in front of you and then start to work. So let me see what we have here. So we're gonna today I wanna teach you a couple of techniques. So as I mentioned before, one of them is wet on wet, the other one is wet on dry, building up color and creating gradient. So I will show you one by one. So in wet on wet, definitely we need water here. We'll leave the water here, and then we need the masking tape, and then I will bring back the watercolor here. So because this paper, we're gonna do like this little exercise. This paper is so big, so I will cut it from the half, so we are not gonna waste paper, and then just see that how it works. I wanna work with So it's like, let me find the scissors. Okay, here you are. So let me arrange everything well. So always, if you're using your hand right, leave everything in your right side. Okay, like me, I'm a right hand user. So if you are left, you use your left hand, just go and leave all the materials in the left side. Okay, so perfect, everything is great. So we just use masking tape to fix my paper, because I will tell you why. Because when the paper gets wet, then when you stretch it, it won't bump, and you will see that, okay, it stands like in the same shape that is what it was before. So that's why we try to fix it and stretch it, right? It's very nice that we have this little sponge here. I like it. And then try to fix it. For now, I leave the water there. I don't wanna. Oops, sorry. You don't need to be so accurate. You just, because it's like you're doing exercise, right? So, and also when you tape it, you always have a really nice frame around your work, right? Okay, so we don't need the tape anymore. If you have this in your watercolor pack, as I said, you can just pour it. You go on water inside it. I pour water, so you will have this. See that? You will have this water. You can use it instead of wetting your brush. You have this. You can carry this with yourself anytime that you go out, so you don't need to carry water with yourself. And this is so easy. But if you don't have it, it's okay, no problem. You can use your brush, right? So leave it in a corner here, and then I will go for a brush. Remember, always save the cap, because we will need it again for putting back. It helps to save your brush life, because you don't want to ruin it. So when you buy a brush, you see that it's pretty hard. It's okay, you just put it in water. Put it in water and just press it. You see the bubbles all around, right? Yeah. So then, we just need, I want to start with wet on wet. In wet on wet technique, it's, right now I'm gonna draw two rectangle. You probably don't see the rectangle, right? But we are wetting our paper, right? We don't want to go a lot, because we don't want to ruin the texture of the paper, right? And I do another rectangle. These are wet and wet technique. Okay, so I want to show you how I usually use this here as a palette, so you can use this as a palette. So you see that it's just like see, but in the other one, this is really good for making a simple surface for making like skies or landscape. Or this one, oops, seems like it's got a little bit dried, so clean it. And again, I've wetted. We need more water, right? So always first make wet and then get a bunch of color and then just water. You see, it's just spreading. You don't need to do anything. Water, it's just liquidy. So it's really great when you are making when you're gonna make landscape. You go to nature, see how colors moving around. So it's a little bit tricky, because if you have so much water, like when I have, you see that they're just moving and they're just going around. But it's okay, we're doing it like as an experiment, right? So you will do it a lot. So when you do it several times, you will see that how much water you can use. For example, here, do you see that there's so much water? If I just use so much water here, you will see that it's just like will be like liquidy and go all around. So this is something that we're gonna work later on in our when we go to our actual work. So this is an experiment that you should do several times, as much as you want, and then you will see that. So this is wet and wet. So it's say, so this is wet on wet, right? Okay, perfect. So it's very simple. We learn it and then we just leave it in a corner. So let me just, later on we'll see that how we're gonna use it, right? Okay, so we'll leave it corner. Just I can save this for the other one, next exercise that we're gonna use. And if you couldn't use it, don't worry, you can have another from your masking tape. So I will leave it in a corner. And then the next one that we're gonna work on is, let me bring this little brush. It's wet on dry. So let me see. I want to write down the technique's name here. wet. I don't know if it's clear from the camera. Wet on dry. Okay, so I'll do again the same as I did before. I will tape it. And because I want to fix it, I don't want to, when I'm working, I see that the paper is moving around. So it's something really helpful. You always fix your paper on your board. That gives also you a sense of self-confidence, and you feel like everything very strong is stuck, and it's like it's should be the place that it is, right? So I just fixed it. So do you remember that we for the wet we first wetted our paper, but for this one we don't need it to do it. We just, let me just leave it here as I said before. Okay, I just need just a bunch of this color. Do you see the texture coming out? This is the texture of paper. Because you didn't wet it before, it gives you this texture. This is another beauty of the this technique, because it gives you this beautiful texture. If you want to have it somewhere, if for example you want to paint a trunk of tree, it's really give you a good texture. Look at here. So you're not having so much water, instead you have texture, because the texture of paper is resisting in front of your brush, because you don't have so much water, right? So we can have so much color here. You always, it's really have a sense of freedom to use watercolor, because you can have as much as you want here, and then just see how opaque is the color. But for sure when it gets dried, you will see that the color gets a little bit is not as sharp as when you first painted. It's get a little bit dusty. Of course it depends on the quality of the color. When some watercolor depends on the quality of the paint. Some watercolors are really good quality, so even after drying you still have the same sharpness and value that you used first. But sometimes you see that okay, it gets a little bit like dusty, or it's not as opaque and transparent as it was before. I want to try another color. Always change your water if it's, you see that if your water is like getting more color inside it, more paint inside it, try to change it. And also don't really leave your brush inside the water for a long time. Try to clean it all the time, because if you leave the brush inside the water for a long time, it's changed the shape, and then you cannot really use the brush very well later on. So it's better always take care of your brush and then leave it in a corner. And whenever you use one color, wash your color, sorry, clean it. If, for example, you want to shift from red to blue, this time I want to show you using another color, the same technique. So just wash. So it's really, if you want to paint objects or a surface that is really you need a solid paint, just use this technique, wet on dry. Don't wet your paper before, right? So this is another technique that definitely will need for the our future work, right? So before leaving this, before moving forward, I will wash my brush and then change the water, because I don't want this red goes to the next one that we're gonna use green if we want to use like this other color. So I prefer not to use this. That's why I just will change it. Okay, so again we'll just remove the tape. I think we already used it twice, so we need to change it. So we'll leave it in a corner beside the another exercise, and then we'll go for another piece. If you're an adult and you can have cutter, it's okay. You can use cutter. I don't know. I have it here right now. Paper cutter. It's not around, so I use the scissors. So just cut it. I cut it because I don't really want to use so much paper. And also we don't need a huge piece of paper, right? So I will do the same as that I did before. This time I go to a little bit this side because I want to leave my stuff here, right? It's better that I leave it here. So it's not really maybe it's not doesn't seem necessary right here to do all of these things, but as I said before, when you get used to all this fixing your paper and taping it, later when you went through more serious works, you will see that it's really helpful. And that's why I advise you all and all my students that please do it and see that how it really would be helpful to fix your paper, to help it like an stretched canvas and not to be bumped and in a bad shape. So okay, so now I have the better spot for my stuff here. I'm happy that I can leave everything here. And then I have my brush, and also I can have it here, paper. Right now it's better. Okay. And I also didn't use this one because you might not have, not all of everybody might have this. Okay, so I will leave it here in the corner. So my brushes are clean, and so I want to go for another exercise. So building, its name is building up color. So let me maybe better building up color. Okay, so in this one I want to show you how you can build up a color. I just draw a couple of strips, then we can just do our experiments, right? So the brush is clean, right? Put it in the water, get some color, any color, doesn't matter which one. You already have space here. So you will see you can also remove some of the water, and then just bring the rest of color little by little. The process is really slow, so you don't need to be in rush, and you must not be in rush, and just use the same color, the same amount of the color that you have, and just leave it like this. You see that how colors, of course it should, here we should have a little bit more, so we'll do more exercise. Okay, so I pick another color. Always clean your brush, right? And then I pick another color, my favorite color, red. Still our water is clean, so you don't need to be worried. So we can mix color with water. I mean, always have some amount of color here in your palette. You also can have a palette if you want. I have had one around me, but I don't know where is it, but it's okay because you have this palette here, right? So again, get a lot of water in, like it's like almost 50% water, 50% color. Get it in your brush, have lots of them. Then like this one, I don't face lack of color. So this will come from here. I make sure that your brush doesn't have so much color, and then I want to make it this time a little bit smoother. So again, you go through water and then clean, make sure that you don't have so much color, just instead have some water, right? And then just make this much very smooth. Do you see that how it's moving? And then the end section, we actually don't have any color, we just have water. See how smooth it's moving? So you really need, you will use this technique a lot in your painting when you're gonna make a sky, when you make like you wanna paint ocean, everything that needs the moving this the color gradually, you will need it. So I will do some more. Always clean my brush, and we clean my brush, and then again this time you also can use like do the wet technique, like first wet your paper, let it get a little bit absorbed by your paper, and then just see that, very smooth. You need to get lots of color, so for this one it's better that you mix it in your palette. And then I would like to give this one a little bit more color here. You can use different touch, and then you see that it's coming gradually, and then always try to clean your brush, and then get a little bit of water, and then get some color, and then wash your brush. Always washing your brush really is helpful. So you wash your brush, and then you see there is a line here, right? It's okay, you can just add more, you can add more color. So I'm doing a little bit fast, but you don't have to, because you need to do some exercise first, right? So it's like I would really like have a nice edge. Okay, so one more exercise, and then boom. Okay, it's always good to have exercise a lot, because it really gives you to get